Beautiful. That's the youth coming through. See,
Gratitude too.
that's why it's important for us to reach the generations so they can hear that word and get a seed and germinate and create more and create better and create beyond what I could have created. That's what it's all about right there. So that's beautiful. Thank you.
It's on.
Matriarch, so what is on your mind? Anything that we were talking about earlier? Not to get into too much, but just the fact that they're imposters that are currently still committing acts and transgressions against us, knowing our full status and knowing our full stance with our documents and travel documents and things like that. I was stating earlier that as long as we are standing our ground and until it's like good versus evil right now. They have lost the battle and the war. We're dealing with the aftermath, that they are still having agents and people still in seats of power, but they are fighting. So when you get hit or miss dealing with certain things, just know that it's a targeted attack. It does not invalidate anything. One thing you have to do is know, and you have to know thyself, and you have to know that what you have and what you're standing on is true, right, and exact. Okay? You're standing on your birthright, your blood right, your droit claim. All of that is in the reclamation, along with a page and a half of Supreme Court laws that support that. Let me remind you that there is no crime or claim that can be made lawfully against a proclaimed indigenous inhabitant of the land. And the reason why it's important to facilitate paperwork is because we have been duped out of our rightful inheritance and our rightful paperwork as far as the proof of where land lies and where land sits. So now we just come back and we reclaim it all. But the law starts with the word and then it is written. That's divine law. So all people, all Moors, all individuals who don't quite understand why we do a reclamation and why we do paperwork or quote unquote paperwork, ab sudis non fit injuria. Go look that up. He who does not make a claim has none. This is what we've been operating under. This is the mud that they stuck us in. And now that we know better, you have to use your intellect and make your claims, because if you don't, you have none. That's just like with anything. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you never use it, it's null and void. If you don't know how to step in it and walk in it, it's null and void. So these are the things that we're dealing with. It's some things that you have to institute to solidify your standing and walk among those in the knowledge of what is happening on the land and what it takes to supersede them that have instituted acts of abandonment against us. You have to show and prove that you know greater, you are greater, and here it is. Here is my claim. This is the age that we're in. We're in the age of redemption and revelation, and you have to redeem yourself because you have been swarmed. We have been swarmed with adhesion contracts placed upon us that's being used unbeknownst to us. That's what all I want to say about that. I yield. Ashe.
I say, wow.
I say.
Any thoughts on that, Bernice Earl?
What did I miss earlier today?
Well, nothing. Whatever we got in the private group is in private right now. Me and Matriarch was just going over something. We didn't stay on long, been in and out because we did a session yesterday. So yeah, any current events that we need to know about that's going on? Because I don't watch the news. I'm just checking in.
The last thing I heard was that uh, one of those uh, so-called assassinations with I think the first one with the store where somebody went into a supermarket and killed a bunch of people. I'm hearing that was a hit put out on the brother that came up with the invention of the self-powered television, who also came up with the invention of the water-powered automobile. This is in Africa, this brother. So his invention was the self-powered television. You don't have to you don't have to plug it in. It self generates power. I don't know how it does that, but he came up with that idea and he was putting it out there and they took him out. Same thing happened with the brother that's in Africa that invented the self-powered automobile, where once you turn the key on, it self generates itself, because when the wheels spin, the wheels charge a battery, and so anytime the wheels are spinning, once you turn it on, it's continually charging the battery along with solar panels. I heard that they had tried to kill him. I think he's still alive. They try to poison him. So there's a lot of things that's going on out there. All these red flags, and with the killing of these children. This the more they dig and the deeper they dig, the more they find out, certain things shouldn't have happened, because it was, I think, 2 hours had elapsed by before they actually even went inside the building. So it's a shame that innocent people are being killed, but the stuff is getting exposed quicker and faster because of the internet. Word gets out. As far as current events, that's as far as I got. I said I watch the news too much, and I yield.
I'll iterate on that, Noble. It's nothing really new or current whatsoever, because words that resonated with me listening to your testimony was taken out, taken out, taken out, time to take out or taken out innocent. Today I read an article about the barotheric gland, which was again taken out. And I just thought that that was very vital what I read as far as being taken out. It's just another clue and breadcrumb that our ancestors left us to know that these oppressors will be as diabolical as they can in order to hide the truth and take out the true heirs to the land. So, Noble, have you ever heard of or done any research on the barotheric gland? Barotheric? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right.
First I ever heard of it.
All right, the barotheric gland. I gotta read. I'll start. I'll read a little bit. The barotheric gland is a gland that was originally inside of the cavity of the hippocampus area of the brain in the lower part of the cerebellum. Cerebellum is located at the brain and is attached to the brain stem. It was a gland in the brain that was originally connected to the appendix and the tonsils, the same way the pituitary gland connects to the thyroid gland. So, what was the barotheric gland's purpose? The barotheric gland controlled the four higher senses that we all once had. They are: one, telepathy, the ability to communicate messages or thoughts from the mind without using verbal speech. Two, intuition, the ability to know what is about to happen before it happens. Three, clairvoyance, the ability to see clear and know what is going on in another place or in another room without even seeing the events with your own two physical eyes. Four, psychometry, the ability to be able to tell something about a person by holding a belonging or an object of that person or entity. So it goes on to read a little bit of history. Uh, why don't we have this barotheric gland anymore? According to the Sumerians' doctrine, from Adam and Eve by the great scientists Nergal, Sharistar, Ninti Enki, and Arisha Kegel, making the Adamites no longer able to communicate with the Elohim gods randomly. So gods random. Cain, Abel, Seth, Lub, Lub, Lubuda, Lubudwa, and Aklemia were all born with this specific gland. Cain, Abel, Seth, Labudwa, and Aklemia were all born with their barotheric glands. But like their parents, Adam and Eve, they were surgically removed also, according to the Sumerian doctrine. Enos was the first human being to be born without his barotheric gland. This is why he is referred to as a mortal. So will we get our barotheric glands back? Barotheric gland will be reinserted in the lower part of your chin called the sub, or mental, or into those people who are worthy of returning home when Yeshua Elohim gods come for their children. That time is now. Who was the one that Yahweh that was assigned to us? Who was the one Yahweh that was assigned to us? This Yahweh, who Elohim named, is Yahshua. Again, I'll read that again. Who was the one Yahweh that was assigned to us? This Yahweh was Elohim, who Elohim named is Yahshua. In the Aramaic Hebrew, Tammuz or Adonai, according to the Sumerian and Babylonian doctrines. Ezekiel 8:14 and one quote, then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north, and beheld there sat women weeping for Tammuz. In the Egyptian culture, Tammuz is known as Horus, whose Egyptian name is Har or Heru. Horus was the son of Ishtar, who is also known in the Greek mythology as Isis. Her ancient Egyptian name is Aset. His father's name is Osiris, who was known in ancient Egypt as Tammuz. Tammuz, no other than the son of Ishtar and Tammuz. He is the appointed one by the god for mortals on earth. He was also known as Adonis and became the Adonai of the Aramean and Hebrew spoke on this in the Bible, Ezekiel 8:14. As the Sumerian deity of food and vegetation, he is also referred to as Adonis, Adon, Haru, Elyon, Allah, Kyrios, Christos, Christ, in some parts of the world, Jesus. In the Egyptian mystery doctrine, Tammuz is equivalent to the Egyptian being of Horus, Haru. Tammuz is a Messiah, meaning the anointed one, from the Egyptian word Messiah, to anoint, son of God, Asaru, or Osiris. He would be equivalent to Jesus Christ being worshipped rather than his father. And those ancient Hebrew or Jews who do not acknowledge Jesus Christ are hated and called heathen by these Christians. This was the case even back then as still today. And note that Tammuz was also mentioned in the Bible. Heru was also mentioned in the Bible. Osiris, son, the anointed one. From the Egyptian word Messiah, to anoint, son of God, Asaru, Osiris, was mentioned in the Bible. Ezekiel 8:14. And I quote, then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north, and beheld there sat women weeping for Tammuz. That's translated from Aramaic Hebrew as Tammuz, sprout of life. So this is the assert that I read on the barthary gland, summarizing that we were born with a specific gland that had been removed strategically through time and generation of the imperial bloodline, ancient bloodline.
Where'd you
Question.
find that at, brother?
Question, real quick. Do you think our creators would have removed that from us?
Not at all.
Okay. Who do you think that could be true for? That could have happened to?
That it could have happened to, or who was who had
Do you
committed this
who do you
act.
think they're talking about when they said they removed that from them surgically?
Scientists, doctors, all of these that work for and under and around in these secret societies of these orders that are not
Okay.
for the original people.
Okay. That could be true in these recent years.
That's why they want you to have a baby in a hospital, not at home,
Okay.
Well,
so they can keep track.
this is first, let me give my take on it.
Okay.
There were beings created here on this planet by those that you mentioned, by Mother Ninti, by those of the Anunnaki, the creators. We have an ultimate creator, most high creator that came, that sent us here in a ball of light. Then you have creators who created other beings here on earth. So from what you just read, it's indicative of the creators here on earth whom consider themselves gods on earth that created these other beings and took out some of their senses so that they would not, because that was the big argument between Inky and Leo. It wasn't for them to be as intelligent as us. They were meant to be created to be a workforce and
Okay.
not to be able to overrun us
Mhm.
in the future. So for me, that immediately came to mind when you said that was taken out. Now, that's first off. Second off, I can see them trying to do that when they take out your tonsils. All of these things that they've been doing that don't necessarily have to be done, and they convince people to do it,
Mm-hmm.
is when they're taking these things out also with the tonsils and with these, things that we don't necessarily have to have taken out away from us.
Wisdom teeth.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Wow. I got one of my wisdom teeth removed when I was young because it was bothering me.
They
But
took all
I
mine. I didn't even have to have them removed.
see
I
that's
still have mine.
mm, I yield.
They wasn't bothering me. It was just there. They were huge. And I remember when they took him out, he was cranking and cranking and cranking, and I couldn't feel nothing that he was doing, but he was cranking and going back and forth and cranking and going back and forth. I mean, leaning. And he pulled that sucker out. I heard it pop. It was the size of my thumb. All four wisdom teeth. And in 2 hours when he was done, after 2 hours, all the pain medication wore off. I was rolling on the ground, crying, grabbing my jaw. I thought I was dying. And this lasted for like almost an hour, 2 hours. It's just little pain, and they couldn't give me nothing to stop it. But that makes sense. That's why I was saying, about what I said. It makes sense. It makes so much sense. Where'd you find that at?
I believe this was a read from. I'm not sure. I don't even want to really quote it right now. Just
Okay.
something that me and another noble was going over. Uh, so
That's a lot
I
of
took a
information.
right. I took a little screenshot of what we were going over, and just been reading and rereading and doing a little studies. My elders always told me their experiences with wisdom or molars or tonsils, and
Mm-hmm.
so they always suggested not to if I didn't have to. And so once it was that I became uh to that challenge, that situation. I just I didn't go back. I not ever went back. I went and got my consultation. They told me, of course, you got four. Only two of them will give you a problem or may give you a problem. They were on opposite sides of my mouth. One was up, one was bottom, on opposite sides. So I just kind of looked at it like, yeah, no, thank you. They would hurt from time to time because I had other teeth that were still trying to, like another tooth that was trying to grow in, and so naturally, my wisdom tooth that was growing in, uh, basically pushed one of them out the way,
Mm.
and it basically, like, I don't want to say it decayed or rotted, but it basically chipped it away,
Wow.
disintegrated, basically. Pushed it out the way. One of. Other than that, I believe I have all of mine. Still do, and from time to time,
Mm.
I get major. I'll get a major headache because of the one tooth that it did push out the way. All of these teeth are connected and attached to neurons and nerves in the
Right.
body and in the brain. And
Mm-hmm.
I would get major migraine. I would, from time to time, I still get a migraine here or there. It slowed down the past few years. Um, but yeah,
That's some good
it's all
information.
science.
Whenever you get a chance, post that for everybody to see.
Yes, I'll send it right now.
All right. I yield.
You what's actually going on right now. You.
Islam. Ohio just came out Friday with the open carry law. And this means anybody, but if you tried to get a permit or license and were denied, you cannot carry. But it's going to be open season in Ohio. Texas is supposed to be an open carry state. I just don't understand why the people who are there who care for these children didn't already have something waiting for somebody like that. I yield.